Hey everybody, this is Michael Holmes, and that is what 121, 2021, 21 days into the new year. We've come through 2020 with all kinds of things that has happened, all kinds of crap, all kinds of good things. Sometimes, it just depends, right? But what we're going to do is, like my mentor always says, we're going to keep it positive, right? So what we're going to do today, we're going to mainly focus on making sure that you have the understanding of starting your first home or you're buying your next home the right way. Okay, because so many times we use a certain process, and this process has actually sold us because there are individuals that are out there that are needing the types of commissions. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with commissions, anything like that, because there's a place for everyone. But when you are informed, right, you do what the informed do. Okay, but so many times that what we are learned how to do is shopping, for the house, right? And so we're looking for the different houses over here, over there, and we're looking for the cosmetic things, okay, to make sure that we like it and it's good and all those types of things. But it's hardly the right people that will tell us the financial things. Okay, those are the things that's going to be there for the next 15 to 30 years when you're buying a home. Okay, so it's not really just what you're looking at, the aesthetics of everything, right? But it is what we are, the money behind it. Because realize, if you pay a $200,000 home, right, and you pay over 30 years, that home you'll be paying almost $350,000 for the same home, right? So if you're going to pay that much money in interest, shouldn't you start out the way that you should? Right? If you're going to pay, if you're buying $100,000 house, right, and 30 years later you've paid $250,000 for this same property. If that's the case, we have to start the right way. Okay, we have to understand the things that are in our way so that we can afford the right home, and we can get it with a wholesale. We can come into it and move into our home and actually have equity remaining. Okay, equity is simply meaning the distance between how much you owe on your home and how much the home is worth. Okay, so if your home is worth, as an appraisal, $200,000, then great. And you owe $100,000 to the bank, right? So then you have $100,000 in equity in there. But when you get into a home and you buy a new home, and what ends up happening when you buy that home, okay, it's $120,000 home, right? Right, and that's what they're selling it for. So what you got to see is they're going to tag on the other fees and things like that. Most times people don't realize everything that's involved with the house, right? But we only think that there is the payment. Can I afford the payment? Right? But you don't think about it's a PITI, right? So it's your payment, which is your principal and interest. Then you have taxes and insurance. Okay, so if you don't have those things in line, you don't have those things in place, then when you're going through the rest of your life, so say for instance, they will say, hey, don't worry about this, and this. We can go ahead and get you in with no down payment or so, right? And if that's the case and you're getting in there with no down payment, you got to see, where is that payment going? Because you got to have a down payment to get into the house. If they're saying you have a no down payment, you got to see, okay, did they put it back into the loan? So I got to pay for that over the next 30 years. So it would be better for you to be able to buy that $100,000 home for 60,000, 70,000, 80,000, right? So therefore, if you bought $100,000 house at 80,000, you walk in there with $20,000 worth of equity, right? So let's take a look and see exactly what we're talking about. Okay. Yeah, I'm a little short preview, so you can see I got it in a PowerPoint, so you can see why you need to buy your home the right way. Okay, the first thing you got to understand is that you have an opportunity to be the bank. Okay, because when you're not being the bank, what you're doing is you're actually giving them. Okay, you're just paying on your interest for the first 7 to 10 years. You're simply paying on interest. Okay, so when you understand how to buy the home the right way, then you can get yourself in position and actually have equity going in. Okay, so therefore you're actually ready Okay, so now when you go into a situation or a challenge, you still have 20 grand in your home. You still have 20% in your home. Okay, not that you got to tap in and use it, but it's the equity. It helps your asset column as well. Okay, so many times we grabbing a home, and that home, some people are going to be like, Mike, I don't know what you're talking about, but sometimes a home is a liability. It's not always an asset. Anything that you're producing, anything that you have that you're paying for, it's a liability. If it's not making you money, then it's a liability. Okay, so let's start with the beginning here so we can see how we need to start and position ourselves, and share this around, because so many times we're buying things, we're just listening to the other individuals that uh have the commissions involved. Not saying that just because they have the commissions involved that they don't treat you well, but you have to understand, if you are informed, it doesn't matter. Okay, so if you know something, it doesn't matter about their intentions, because you know exactly what to be doing. Okay, so let's look at the positioning. Okay. All right. So when we're starting, the biggest thing that you got to realize, when you're getting a home, you got to be prepared to get the home. Okay. So what we got to look at is your cash flow management. Okay. So we got to make sure that when they look at it, they got to see, oh, what are you doing? Are you prepared? Are you previously taking care of income? Are you previously taking care of credit? Are you previously taking care of your job? Right. And also, you got to understand that when you buy a home, they're generally going to qualify you of about 25% of your gross income, because they don't want to do what they call house shock or payment shock. Okay, what that means is that, hey, you're being introduced to now $1,200 a month, and you haven't been paying no more than 600 or 700. Okay, so what they want to make sure is that you have everything in place, you have the understanding, and making sure that you're going to maintain your home, right? So we're going to show you how to make sure that your income is used to increase your cash flow. Okay. So what we got to do is, we got to remember, you got to understand where your already money is, right? You got money that you're using as bills. Learn how to change those bills into business expenses. Okay. And if you don't know, definitely, leave me a message or anything like that. We'll make sure. But that will increase your cash flow. Okay. So also, debt elimination. When you reduce your debt, that means you have more money, right? When you write off your lifestyle, that means you have more money. Okay. You have more cash flow that you can use for you and your family. When you got better credit, you get to pay less of the penalty that's called interest. So therefore, you keep more of your money. Okay, so we're doing things that's going to increase your cash flow so that you can maintain that you want to buy. Okay, so now the taxes, right? Your income taxes. You need to understand how do income shift, right? Your taxes on your payroll, okay, on your income. So generally, they're taxing you, if you have a regular W-2, they're taxing you somewhere between 28 to 32%. Okay. You can use that money right now every month to take yourself and pay off debt and increase your personal credit. Okay. And if you have a home based business, you're allowed to do that. And you might say, Mike, well, if I do that, that's getting my money now. Won't I owe? No, because number one, as you see, we're writing off lifestyle. So when you write off things like your mileage, you write off things like your cell phone bill, things you already are using, right? That money starts to come back to you to increase your cash flow. Okay. And then investment strategies or investing strategies. This is how you make sure that your money is making money. Okay. You maximize your 401k, right? Whatever those things are that you need to get in place to maximize, and then we'll teach you other strategies so that you can learn the terms and definitions so that you can apply the information that you have to the next level of life so that you can increase your investing. Okay. So let's come out of this one. I wanted to start here, and I want to go back to the very beginning of the slideshow. Okay. All right. So today's goal Is to help you to fund more deals in more places so you get paid more often. Okay, so this is why you see this here, because I teach people not just their individual home, right, but I teach them into investing homes as well, because if you learn it one time, right, why not continue to play Monopoly, right? So go ahead and continue buy those homes until you get into the hotel. Okay. Now, what you want to do is make sure you're taking good notes. We've already started, so I know that you're tuned in and you're already getting yourself in place, right? So let's go ahead and go past, and I like to start with that one, okay? And what we're going to do is we'll be talking about private money mortgages, okay? Because generally, what we're using is hear people talking about conventional funding or conventional lending or conventional mortgage, okay? That's when you go to the banks, right? That's when you go to them and you have the 700 scores, you have 20% down, and you everything's in place. It's a different type of majority of people need unconventional, or that they need some type of program, okay? And that's similar to, let's say, for instance, there are programs like FHA, rural housing development, okay? So those are things that will help people get into homes and help you also be available for down payment assistance and things like that as well. Okay. So what I want to do is this is a type of funding that's going to help you get into a home, right? Where most people don't understand how to get into and can't get into. Okay. So private money is simply a capital lent by private citizens or companies throughout the United States. Okay. And it usually has a shorter term, because most times we have a mortgage of 15 years, 30 years, right? But private money is used to help you get over a hump. Okay, and I'm going to show you what that means. So terms for these types of loans will vary from lender to lender. Okay, now this is how it works, guys. This is how we start to dive in. This is how you become the bank. This is how you get to a place to where you increase your asset column immediately. Okay, so Stephanie is looking to buy a house. She wants to fix it up and resell it for a profit. Okay, now you can do this and resell it for a profit, or you can fix it up and do what? Move into it. Okay, because it's all good, right? You just have to understand the ways of doing it. Okay. So now, because of the nature of the deal, Stephanie can't get money from a regular banking institution. You know how it is. You see all those ugly houses sent to the side, but they're in nice neighborhoods. You say, "Man, what's going on with this?" And but because most people can't, or will not access the 40,000, 50,000 to buy the property, and then another 50 to 100,000 to fix the property, right? So that's a lot of cash to have, and it's also a lot of credit to be in position to be able to access that cash. So really and truly 85% of America cannot do that. Okay. And especially from the housing crisis that's happened and so much boom is happening now as well. There's not a lot of affordable housing being built. Okay. So this is what helps us to do so. Private money. Okay. Now this can be a company, but we're going to talk about a person. Okay. So this classic private money can be from an individual or it can be from a company. Okay. So either one. Okay. Stephanie's paying $100,000 for this house. She can resell it at 175. Okay, so now we see a gross profit of 75 grand that she's able to make. Okay, or if she keeps the home, you can see how much that she will have in equity, right? In actual cash that she has access to. Okay, Stephanie already has 35 grand in cash, right? She had a 401k, or if she walked through our process, she used her business credit and needs to borrow the rest. Okay. Stephanie contacts a private lender named Linda and offers to pay her a premium price to borrow the 65,000. Okay, so he said, "Hey, great, I have this deal in place here. You can see that this deal is going to make me this amount of money, right? In order for me to do it, I need to borrow X amount of money, X amount of dollars." And then Linda says, "Yeah, that looks good. It looks like something that could produce or something that could make quality money." Okay. Linda knows she'd be in first lien position on the property, which means that if anything goes down, or Linda happens to, a COVID situation or something, something happens. Okay. Linda then takes control of the property. Okay. So she is a win-win situation. Okay, so Linda also, if she doesn't take control of the property and everything goes well, Linda also earns a relatively high return on her investment. Okay, so that's what is available for both sides. You can be one side that has the money lending to the home buyers and things like that, or you can be on the other side and you're borrowing in order to make the profit. Okay, so now let's take a look at it, right? The after repair value, just like it says with ARV, right? What does it look like? What is going to be worth when we're done with it, when we make it pristine, right? When it's retail shape, okay? And then the purchase price, as we said, is 100 grand. Down payment 35, right? Everything together, we're basically looking at a 9% is what we're going to pay Linda, which is about 487. And remember, we're not going to do this, not a 30-year or 15-year, it's a 12-month process because it gets us over a hump. Okay. And so now we're going to pay 5850 over 12 months. But we've calculated everything inside before we begin so we'll know what our profit looks like. Okay. So when Stephanie did that, she saw after everything was finished, she sold it for 175, right? After the 17.5 that she had to put down, 15,000 that she would put in repair costs, and then the months that she paid, she only had it 5 months, right? Then she paid Linda off 67.6. Okay, and then she also put the 35,000 back into her 401k or back into her loan or back into her business credit line. Okay, so she still netted. That's at the end of everything. She net $35,000. Okay, so now that's a pure profit that she has to move on to the next property. Or this is something that she wants to move into. Now she has better assets if she maintains the property, right? Instead of selling it, maybe we refinance it and then lease it out or lease to own, or turn it into a mortgage. So say for instance, if we got it, fixed it up, and then we refinanced it instead of selling it, and then another person want to come in and want to buy the $175,000 home, we're going to say, hey, no problem. We want to see 17.5 down, 10%, or let's say 15% down, so that we can have a profit on that as well. So we say 15% down because the credit is not there, so they put down their 15%. Right? And then we write a mortgage to them for 15 or 30 years. Okay? It's just like a bank would. Okay? So now you're in a position of this person or this whoever is buying the property from you. You didn't send them to Bank of America to get the mortgage. They got a mortgage through you. You became the bank. Okay? That's the powerful thing about this. So it's a win-win for everybody involved. Okay? Now, and this is where I end off with, and you'll catch it again later, okay? But the fast formula, so that you can understand how to approximate these types of deals. When you see a abandoned property out there, or when you see this totally disgruntled person that needs to get out of this property because it needs a lot of repairs, or whatever the situation or challenge is for that seller, right? This is how you're going to estimate what's happening. Okay, like we said, the ARV, that's your after repair value. What is it going to be worth, right? That's all we're concerned about. We look at what's it going to be worth. How do we find that out? Go to Zillow.com. That'll give you a simple estimate to where to start. Okay, Zillow.com has what they call a Zestimate. Okay, and when you look at that Zestimate, it gives you the comparison of the other houses in that area, what they've sold for. Okay, when you look at those, now you're in a position to understand, okay, what is this? What is the potential for this property? Okay, when you find that, you're going to multiply that by 65%. Don't worry about why right now. Okay, this is just exactly how you fit into the parameters. Okay, so that you can get approved, right? Because with this type of lending, credit is not a challenge. Okay, you can be a 550. Okay, so that's what we want to look at. It's about the deal. So then after you multiply by 65%, you're going to back out the repairs. Okay, so how do you find out the repair? Simple. Just give them a call. Give the seller a call. Say, hey, this needs. You say it needs work. How much work do you feel like it needs? Okay, and they'll say, well, it needs this done, this done, this done, this done, or they have a list that they can send you, or they'll estimate. Okay, so that's what you'll go by. Okay, and so let's say, for instance, they say, hey, it's a complete. This is just crap. I need it to be completely rehabbed. Right, not built from the ground up, but just rehabbed. Okay, so that right there, you can estimate around a 15, 25 grand because of inflation, of course, but you'll learn about that. Okay, about how to estimate repairs and stuff. Okay, it's vital because your estimation of the repairs gives you your equity. Okay, so when you are doing these things, this equals your MAO, which is your maximum allowable offer. This is the most you're going to pay for this property. Period, point blank. Whatever I do this formula for, that's the most I'm gonna pay for it. So if you want more for this property than my MAO comes out to be, then I'm gonna pass. And we move on, right? So that way you can analyze properties on the fly. And you just keep on moving. Okay. But then when you find one that fits the MAO, now you can go in and see, okay, what's happening. Okay. So also, if you were, we also talk about how to wholesale properties. So after you subtracted the repairs, you would subtract your wholesale assignment cost. And we will teach you more about that as well. But that's for later, okay? Investors and things like that. So what we're doing now is showing you how to buy the right home, your next home or your first home, the right way, okay? There's many things out there we can look at. Your pre-foreclosures, foreclosures, REO deals or real estate owned deals, which means the bank already has them. Be deals that are out that are just sitting on the side of the road. There's how to grab the land and build on the land, using the same process. So there's many different ways of getting into your home, just understanding the discipline that it takes, just to go through. Okay. So that's what I want to show you. And we will jump into, more and more and more as we go. And I will be around to make sure that you can have the proper questions that you need to get answered. So once again, guys, this was how to make sure that you get the right home, buy it, and have the equity remaining. Because why pay retail? We don't have to. Why pay $100,000 for a home, right? When you can pay 80, right? Takes a little bit more understanding, but I think I'd rather save the 20 grand, right? So guys, have a good one. And I'll see you on the other side of purpose, because this side is just your comfort zone. Talk to you later. Peace.